How to communicate effectively in any relationship. Communication is often treated like a skill of speaking clearly, choosing the right words, or winning an argument. But in real relationships, communication is something deeper. It's an emotional exchange long before it becomes a conversation. Two people can talk endlessly and still feel misunderstood, unseen, or emotionally distant. Not because the words were wrong, but because the feelings underneath never met. Misunderstood intentions are one of the quietest relationship killers. You say one thing, they hear another. You mean care, they feel criticism. Over time, these emotional misfires create distance, even when love is present. And the damage isn't loud, it's subtle. It shows up as tension, withdrawal, or silence where closeness used to live. So, what if the problem isn't what you're saying, but what's being felt? What if effective communication isn't about better sentences, but clearer emotional signals? In this video, we're going to explore how communication actually works beneath the surface, psychologically, emotionally, and relationally. Because when you understand what's really being exchanged, conversations stop feeling like battles and start becoming bridges. Communication is more than words. What you're really saying. Have you ever said all the right words and still been misunderstood? You explained yourself clearly, stayed calm, chose carefully, and yet something landed wrong. That's because words are only part of communication. Beneath every sentence lives emotional subtext. Tone, body language, pauses, and energy often speak louder than the words themselves. People don't just listen to what you say, they feel it. They sense urgency, distance, irritation, warmth, or fear sometimes before they process the actual message. Unconsciously, we communicate emotional signals shaped by our mood, stress, and internal state. And those signals often become the real message received. So, what are people feeling beneath your words? Are you communicating meaning or just information? You might be sharing facts, while your emotions send a different story. This is why intentions and impact often don't match. The sentence may be logical, but the emotion behind it carries the truth. Sometimes, the message isn't in the sentence at all. It's in the emotion guiding it. And until that emotion becomes clear, misunderstanding quietly takes root, listening to understand, not to respond. Most people believe they're good listeners. In reality, many of us listen defensively. We listen while preparing a response, protecting our ego, or scanning for what might threaten us. That's why conversations can feel active yet empty words are exchanged, but understanding never arrives. Feeling unheard hurts in a specific way. It creates loneliness inside connection. And often, it's not because the other person isn't listening, it's because they're listening to reply, not to understand. Defensive listening filters everything through self-protection. What does this mean about me? Am I being blamed? How do I explain myself? Empathetic listening shifts the goal. It asks, what are they trying to express beneath the words? Validation doesn't mean agreement, it means emotional recognition. When people feel understood, their nervous system relaxes. Defenses soften. Clarity becomes possible. Are you waiting for your turn, or truly hearing them? What changes when understanding becomes the goal instead of being right? Connection begins the moment defense ends. And that moment is often quieter than we expect. How to say what you feel without starting a fight. For many people, honesty feels dangerous. They fear that speaking openly will escalate conflict, hurt feelings, or damage the relationship. So, emotions get swallowed, softened too much, or released all at once. The result is either resentment or explosion. But expression doesn't have to trigger a fight. Conflict often isn't caused by feelings, it's caused by how they're delivered. When emotions come out unregulated, they sound like accusations instead of experiences. Responsibility for feelings gets misplaced, and defensiveness rises instantly. That's when honesty feels like an attack. Why does truth sometimes feel so sharp? because tone, timing, and emotional regulation shape how honesty lands. Saying "I feel overwhelmed" is different from "you always stress me out." One invites connection, the other invites defense. Can truth be shared gently? Yes, when you own your emotions without assigning blame. The way you speak often matters more than what you say. If this resonates, take a moment to engage. Tap the like button to support content that helps people communicate with clarity instead of conflict. Why tone, timing, and intention matter. Good intentions don't guarantee good outcomes. You can mean well and still cause hurt. That's because communication doesn't land in a vacuum, it lands in an emotional moment. Tone carries meaning. Timing determines readiness. Intention shapes energy. A caring message delivered at the wrong moment can feel invasive. A truthful statement said with tension can feel like criticism. Our nervous systems are constantly scanning for safety. If someone isn't emotionally ready, even honesty can feel overwhelming. Is this the right moment to speak or the right moment to pause? What emotion is guiding your words right now? Awareness of emotional timing changes everything. It shifts communication from impulsive to intentional. Even truth can wound when delivered without care. When you attune to emotional readiness, yours and theirs words stop colliding and start connecting. Emotional honesty without emotional harm. Many people confuse bluntness with authenticity. They believe being honest means saying everything exactly as they feel, regardless of impact. But emotional honesty doesn't require emotional harm. Authenticity without empathy often creates fear, not closeness. Kindness doesn't dilute truth, it makes it receivable. Emotional responsibility means recognizing that your feelings are real, but how you express them shapes safety in the relationship. When honesty is wrapped in awareness, it invites dialogue instead of damage. Can honesty coexist with kindness? What does emotional safety sound like when spoken aloud? It sounds like clarity without cruelty, firmness without attack, truth without dismissal. Honesty heals when it's delivered with care, and relationships grow when people feel safe enough to stay open even during difficult conversations. When silence speaks, knowing when to talk and when to pause. Silence can either protect or disconnect. Sometimes pausing allows emotions to settle and clarity to emerge. Other times, silence creates confusion and distance. Knowing the difference requires emotional awareness, not avoidance. Many people go quiet because they're processing. Others go quiet because they're overwhelmed or afraid of saying the wrong thing. Silence becomes regulation, but without communication about the pause, it can feel like withdrawal. Is silence creating space or distance? When does pausing serve the relationship, and when does it harm it? Healthy silence is intentional and temporary. It makes room for reflection, not fear. Sometimes, restraint communicates more than words, but only when it's paired with reassurance. Have you experienced moments where silence helped or hurt? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experiences help shape deeper conversations like this. Turning misunderstanding into connection. Misunderstanding doesn't have to signal failure. In fact, it often marks the beginning of a deeper connection if handled with care. Repair is where intimacy grows. Acknowledgement, accountability, and curiosity transform conflict into closeness. What if misunderstanding isn't the problem, but avoidance of repair is? Every miscommunication is an invitation to understand each other more fully. When people feel safe enough to revisit, clarify, and listen again, trust strengthens. Can conflict become closeness? Yes, when both people choose growth over defense. Every conversation holds the potential to reconnect, if approached with openness. If you want more content like this about communication, love, and emotional clarity, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it. Let's make love simple, one lesson at a time.